Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难.
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都很难
It's just complicated. So much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
您好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niuniu and Tony with Tony Reed in the studio. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Niuniu, what's going on?
I never know how to answer that question.
I know, that's why I ask it.
I think it's all been very nice, works good, colleagues friendly and very helpful, and really not a lot to complain about.
Oh, well, that's good. It was nice that you're in a very good emotional state.
I am.
Yeah?
Uplifting, and cheerful, and yeah.
It's kind of important. It radiates, you know, and it's like a frequency. You know, people kind of dial in when they come around you. I saw you in the studio earlier, and you seem to be in good spirits. So I came by and said hello to feed off of that energy. Emotions are important.
Emotions are important, and I have to say, it's not always like this. You can't always be super positive, optimistic, and happy to help. Sometimes when you encounter some tasks that are really consuming, or you meet challenges that you feel like they're out of your capability, you would
Just
get a
tell
little
people
bit
to-
down.
Or just tell people sorry, that's out of my pay grade. Not my,
You can say that
not
too.
my an MP, not my problem.
Not my problem. That is not a bad way to deal with those situations.
I missed the part that's my problem.
That's mean. And I think what I was trying to say is that sometimes in life, when you encounter problems out of your capability, when it's a bit too hard and you feel like you need to force yourself to solve it, maybe you solve the problem, but you leave something behind in your heart. Maybe you would put too much pressure on yourself, and your emotion needs a bit of adjustment.
Yeah, I think that can happen sometimes,
And
especially when it involves people around you. Yeah, I think that can happen.
Yeah, that could happen. And for those who are, facing problems in the office and facing pressure in the family and are not 100% energetic by themselves, it is going to be a problem. And that is why we're going to talk about it. Address the issue is the first step if you want to solve the problem. So knowing how to say the problems in Chinese probably will help a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're going to discuss the tips to do a little bit of emotional regulation. So, for our dear listeners, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 你听说了吗？他昨天在部门会议上失控大哭。天哪，为什么呀？简直是社死现场。人到中年，上有老，下有小，工作也不顺心，压力太大了吧？所以，成年人到底能不能在公开场合情绪崩溃呢？
Sounds like gossip to me.
A little bit, isn't it? But it's a real issue because it is possible for everyone to encounter that point where you reach mental breakdown.
Yeah, depending on the conditions and what's happening, people around you. Yeah, I think this is something that is very realistic.
Very realistic. So let's learn to say those words in Chinese first and deal with the problem next. All right. So for the first sentence, 你听说了吗？他昨天在部门会议上失控大哭。
This is, have you heard? She or he lost control and burst into tears at the department meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow. So, ni is you, ting shuo. Ting is here, shuo is like what something or someone said, right? And then le is like indicating it happened. And then ma, so
whether
this
or
is
not.
it's a question. Yeah.
Yes.
And then ta, this could be he or she, right? Zuo tian, this is yesterday.
Yep.
And then zai, this is like at.
At.
And then buman, this is department.
Department.
And then hui, this is meeting.
Meeting.
Yeah? And then we have xiang.
Actually, 在什么上 would be at a certain place because we have 在 suggesting it's location related.
Yeah.
And you have 在会议上, so at the meeting. And you can say 在书上 on the book.
在书上.
在家里 at home. So you have different direction related preposition after 在. And 在 suggests you're going to use that preposition. So 在会议上, 在部门会议上 at the department meeting.
So yeah, you have to have that zai and then shama 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 and then shang.
上 or 下 or 里 or 外.
Okay.
But you can remember 在会议上 at the meeting. This is a correlation.
会议.
会议 meeting.
Okay. And then 失控.
失控
This is to kind of lose your cool.
lose your cool.
Lose
Literally, because 失 is 失去 lose. And 控制 control. So lose control, lose your cool, just lose it.
Okay, go crazy. And then 大哭.
大哭
大哭. And this is
big cry.
a big cry.
Yeah, literally big cry.
Burst into tears.
失控大哭 lose one's cool and start crying. 天哪，为什么呀？简直是社死现场。
It's the scene of social death. So this is Tiana's, that expression that people are when they're really surprised. It's
Yeah.
like, OMG or oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And
天 actually is the sky or the heaven, and 那 is whoa. So that's the idea.
Oh
天哪
heavens.
Yes, a little bit.
为什么? This is why.
Why?
And then ya. You don't really need that ya there, do you?
You don't need that yeah, but here you're saying yeah because you're super surprised. 为什么呀? Why? See, you can say why, you can say why. That's the difference.
Okay. And then 兼职. 兼职, this is like virtually or
Virtually. 简直 is mostly used as a word to stress the tone.
Okay. And then 是, this here is, right? And then 社死.
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 This is not really a word. It's only becoming a word
It's an
in
expression,
recent.
huh?
Yes, this expression only comes into form recently. It's the short term for 社会性死亡.
Oh goodness. I'm so glad they shortened it to 社死.
Yes, so 社会 is society. 社会性 would be social. 死亡 is death. So 社会性死亡, it's an expression showcasing that you're so embarrassed, you feel like you're experiencing a social death. You are no longer showing your face to the society, to any outside world public
You want to
anymore.
kill yourself because you're so
Socially.
embarrassed.
Yes. So 社死 would be talking about someone who's super embarrassed.
All right.
So 社死现场, we know 现场 is a scene or a spot or on site. So 社死现场 would be, oh, that is the scene that kills this person socially. It means that it's really embarrassing.
Wow. Or just saying, wow, that's total social death.
Yeah, total social death. 社死现场. This phrase is very popular. You can learn it. 社死现场.
社死现场.
Yes.
好.
人到中年，上有老下有小，工作也不顺心，压力太大了吧？
This is when people are middle-aged. They have to support the kids and provide care for their parents, and their work is not going well, so it must be really stressful.
Yeah, that's the reason, the speculation.
Sounds like, yeah, speculation.
Speculation.
This person is doing a little bit too much digging in this person's life.
But I think it's the reality. It is the fact that once you enter a certain age or reach a certain age, especially for Chinese people, because we have this really strong bond towards our family, towards the parents. So the taking care of parents, taking care of kids feels like a necessity, feels like your direct responsibility. And it can be a little stressful.
Well, yeah. I mean, taking care of kids is stressful enough. But yeah, taking care of your parents, I mean, depending on their health. If they're healthy, then it's not so bad. But I understand. Okay. Let's see if I can get this. So, 人到中年. This is an expression, right?
Yes, 人到中年 is an expression.
And 人东
it actually means once you reach middle age area or time period. Because 人 we know is people.
Yeah.
到 is reach.
Okay.
So reach or arrive. So if you say 我到家了, I'm home. I've arrived home. And 中年 is middle age.
Middle age, yeah.
So this phrase 人到中年 actually means once people are middle aged. 人到中年. And I think the definition of 中年 is also changing. If we are actually talking about middle age, we are talking about 50, 40 something. But for kids nowadays, they like to joke about their age. They would say once you reach 30, you're already a middle-aged. I'm not a kid anymore.
People are dying sooner.
No, they're just making fun of things. So sometimes when people say, 我是个中年人了, I'm a middle-aged person, they're joking in a self-mocking way. But apparently 中年, middle age, is up to your own definition. You can decide whether or not you're a middle-aged
subjective,
person.
Huh?
It's kind of subjective.
All right, so we have 上有老 and then 下有小.
Yes.
Right? So this is also another expression, right? So this means like there's old and young. I mean, it's a little bit...
Literally, actually, it does mean that. It means 上 is up. So if you look up, 有 have, 老 elder generation. So if you look up, there is the elder generation. And 下, if you look down, 下 有 have, 小 little. So there are the younger generation. So you are the backbone of the family, the bread provider, the supporter of the family. You look up, you have people you need to take care of. You look down, you have people you need to
also take care of,
to support, and you are in the middle, like a sandwich. 上有老下有小. It's an expression. So that's 上有老下有小, an expression. And then we have 工作也不顺心.
Okay, so we have 工作也, this is work. And then 也 kind of indicates also.
Also.
And then 不顺心.
不顺心.
So 不 is not. Right? And then 顺心, this is more like to go along with something, right?
To go along with your heart.
To follow your heart.
Yeah, well, no, it actually means as you wish. So if we say 工作很顺心, it means the work is what you like. You enjoy the work. It goes as you wish. It is conducted smoothly.
Okay, I can do what I want.
You can do what you want. Then it's 顺心, because 顺 carries the meaning of go along with, and 心 is heart.
心 is heart, right?
So if it proceed the way your heart wants it to, then you're satisfied with it. You're happy about it.
But there's a 不 in front of that, right?
So 工作不顺心, it basically is saying it's not successful, it's not, happy or encouraging, or just use some negative words there. 工作不顺心.
Okay. And then we have 压力.
压力.
太大了
压力太大了。
So 压力 is pressure.
Pressure.
And then 太大, so 太 is too much.
Too much.
And then 大 is big.
Big.
So that means there's too much
Pressure.
And
keep in mind, in Chinese, the correlation is 压力大, big pressure.
压力大.
压力大, yes. So too much pressure. 压力太大了吧? So here the ba is not a indicator of a question. It's an indicator of your speculating.
Okay.
It's a speculation. 压力太大了吧? So it's supposed to be that this person burst into tears because he or she is just under too much pressure.
Supposed to be, huh?
Supposed to be. Speculation. 所以成年人到底能不能在公开场合情绪崩溃呢？
This question is kind of funny. It's like, so adults can have an emotional breakdown in public?
Or not. So 所以
So this is so.
So
成年
成年人
成年人
This
is, we talked about this before. This is an adult, right?
Yes.
And then 到底
到底
This is in the end.
In the end, you're again put a little bit stress on the tone.
到底
到底
And then 能不能
能不能
so can or cannot. 才 this is indicating location.
Yes.
And then 公开
公开场合
公开场合. So
Yes.
公开 is like
Public.
in the public.
场合
场合 this is a occasion.
Occasion, or let's say sometimes venue, place, or spot. So 公开场合 is basically in public.
In public. 情绪
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 Yeah.
So this is emotion.
Emotion.
Right? And then 崩溃呢?
崩溃
Yeah, 崩溃 this is like the collapse or the breakdown that we're talking about.
Yeah. 情绪崩溃 that would be emotional breakdown or even mental breakdown depending on the degree of the breakdown.
I see.
Okay, so do you have any language-related questions?
Language related questions.
Yeah, we're gonna deal with the other questions a bit later. Let's do the language questions first.
Okay. No, let's give this a try.
Okay, you start gossiping.
I start. That's a word you have to teach me. 你听说了吗？他昨天在部门会议上失控大哭。
天哪，为什么呀？简直是社死现场。
人到中年，上有老，下有小，工作也不顺心，压力太大了吧？
所以成年人到底能不能在公开场合情绪崩溃呢？ You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Honglin, and Tony. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's talk about the question whether or not can adults have an emotional breakdown in public. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Tony Reed. So, Tony, if you encounter something that is so devastating that you feel like you can never deal with, would you or would you not cry out loud in front of your colleagues?
I can't say that I've had this experience. I think as human beings, we all are capable of losing our stuff every once in a while. Most of us don't deal with stressors the right way, and it builds up in us over time. And when that happens, then something small can happen and it just triggers emotion. I've had situations where I had some sadness in me, and then randomly it just came out.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't in front of people, so I was able to, hide away and deal with it myself.
That is the thing, because some people believe, actually some people including myself, I feel like I cannot have emotional breakdown in public places. As an adult, I feel like I have that final shred of strength to at least find a private place. Either it be the restroom or a private studio. I need a place that I can be with myself instead of in the public. I still have that tiny little strength to do that because I feel like I cannot deal with the aftermath if I actually had a mental breakdown in front of people, if I actually cry out loud or I don't know, make a scene in the office. I feel like I cannot face anyone after that. So to save myself from the embarrassment, I would choose to find a personal place.
I wonder if it's different between girls and guys.
But I totally understand. For some people, they just lose it. It's not their choice. A breakdown is a breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a total breakdown, then you don't have that slither or that little piece of strength where you can hide away and deal with it yourself. It just comes out at that moment. And maybe if for example, if you're in a meeting and then there's nowhere to go,
like a volcano.
Yeah, it just comes out, and so there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But the question I had earlier was I wonder if it's different for guys and girls, because I know that girls can sometimes be a bit emotional. Guys,
not in my world.
Not in your world. But guys, I just, you don't hear so much about guys having these emotional breakdowns in public. And I don't think this because we don't have those feelings. I just think that
you do.
We do. It's just that maybe socially.
There's a very famous Chinese song. It's called 男人哭吧哭吧不是罪. It's saying, man, cry out loud. It's not a crime.
Yeah, but you'll just be judged for it for the rest of your life. So yes, please.
That's the problem. Sometimes we think we are going to be judged.
We will be.
But I would not judge someone if they actually had an emotional breakdown in the office. I would be extra, attentive to them
Exactly.
instead.
Yeah, you need to be delicate with this guy because you never know. He might just start crying.
That's not true.
See? And that's that little alteration in treatment.
No, don't say that. That's the thing. Sometimes I think it's important to have emotional regulation. You need to know yourself, recognize your emotions, and vent them in a good way, in a proper way, before having that volcano erupted all of a sudden and give you a 社死现场, a social death scene.
社死
现场. Yeah, that's just not. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there a specific way that you use, some method or some tools that you have to regulate your emotions?
Talking to myself. I talk to myself a lot. And I think sometimes when you talk to yourself, you get out some of the feelings, whether they're, I think if it's negative emotions or positive emotions, just when we're filled with something from the environment, if we walk into a place and we're given a lot of negativity, then the negativity builds up in your body, and you have to go somewhere and let that frequency out, release it from your system. Otherwise it hangs out there and it does damage. So if you have anyone to vocalize that to, at least vocalize it to yourself and it comes out.
That is really good. There's a Chinese saying, we say 冰冻三尺非一日之寒. So it's basically saying for ice to become really, really thick ice, it takes more than 1 day of really cold temperature, low temperature. So it takes, like you said, it builds up in you. So channeling it to your friends, to your family, which to your spouse is not recommended, by the way, or to yourself, it helps. So the reason I say it's not recommended to take it out on your spouse is because, like you said, negative emotions are contagious. If you vent too much to your loved ones,
they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it.
They don't care.
There will be a point that it hurts your relationship.
Yeah, and they have their own things that they're dealing with as individuals too. And if both of you are venting, it's like, okay, I'm waiting for you to finish venting so I can start venting. I'm not really listening to you because I want to vent too. And so it becomes this just waiting.
Vicious circle.
They're just waiting for their turn to speak and no one's actually listening. You know, so that's why I just choose to vent or talk to myself because it's I'm not disturbing anybody else, and it serves the same purpose.
And sometimes, actually, if you really need their help or suggestions, for sure, talk to each other about your lives, about your work. But if it's pure venting, I would agree with you here. It's just not that meaningful.
No, I don't think so. It's just something that you do to make yourself feel better. It's a release.
It's a release.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I want to ask you, because I think it's a Chinese thing, but I'm not really sure. We have a saying, 报喜不报忧.
报喜不报忧.
Yes, it's usually about talking to your parents. When you're talking to your parents, you would give them the good news and filter the bad news. So basically, you leave the bad news out. You only tell them, I've got promoted, I've got a raise, I'm happy. You don't tell them how stressful you are, what problems you encounter, what are challenges you cannot deal with. 报喜不报忧. So only good news. Is that the kind of phenomenon that happened in your culture when you were?
No, not really.
That's good.
I think for where we're at, it just kind of comes with the package. You already know that there's going to be a downside to everything, right? So it's just like, got some good news and I got some bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?
But you don't worry about your parents worrying about you?
No. It's just different. You know, I think a lot of times they're just like, oh, okay, well, congratulations, but you're going to have to deal with this, and this, right? And it's like, yeah, pretty much. And it's like, okay, well, pat on the back. Good job for getting the job, but yeah. Good luck.
Oh, that's really good, because I started to realize that 报喜不报忧 is not the right strategy. Because if you don't give them the full information, like you said, they already know there will be a downside.
Yeah.
And they know that it's not possible, that your life is all perfect with no problems at all.
Of course.
And that is why they're going to be even more worried about you, because you're not giving them any information.
Well, I think that depending on, everybody's different. You have some parents who are they have different, I guess you could say, attachment types. So if they're more of the standoffish and they know that these things are going to happen, they just kind of say, well, yeah, that will bring new challenges and good luck. Kind of like what I just explained on the American side. And then you have some who have maybe, spoil their kids a little bit, gave them everything and don't let them struggle so much. And so for them, it might be an adjustment more for the parents than the actual person who's involved with the new.
That is another topic, I feel like, for another day. But another reason that I feel like 报喜不报忧 is the wrong approach is because as I grow up and grow older, I feel like the 报喜不报忧 is also partly because I was a bit too condescending before. I felt like I can deal with all the problems. I do not really need their wisdom to help me, their guidance. And as I grow older, I realize I really do need their guidance and their, suggestions. And my parents can actually give me a lot of help and good ideas in dealing with challenges. So I strongly suggest my dear friends listening to Takeaway Chinese right here to do the same thing. Call your parents, tell them what's making you happy, and tell them what's troubling you. It helps you, it helps them. It's a good thing to do.
Sometimes. Depends on your parents.
And
it depends on the problem.
And the last resort when it comes to emotional regulation would be seek therapy. If it comes to the point where you feel like you just can't deal with it, where sometimes you feel like you already know the problem, you need to adjust yourself, you need emotional regulations, but you just don't know how. You don't have the skill set.
You don't know the strategies on how to carry that out.
Yeah.
So sometimes it helps to see someone who can show you where to start and what things to do. And for me, I think fitness also helps too.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes just getting on the treadmill and just banging it out and getting those endorphins flowing through the body, and it helps you
stress release.
Release some of the that tension that you build up.
Recently, in the Chinese social media platforms, we see the saying that a mental breakdown of an adult is on mute.
It's on mute, huh?
is on mute. You're not making any voice. You're not alarming anybody. You're not making a scene.
Yeah.
And
silent but deadly.
yeah, but I think it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be on mute. It can make some noise and alarm some people as long as it's helping you, as long as you can adjust right back. Don't make it a kind of depression, or just don't suppress yourself too hard. That volcano, if that volcano needs to erupt, let it erupt.
Let it drizzle, and I think that's what happens naturally in a healthy relationship is letting some of that fire out gradually. If there's an issue or a problem.
Listen to Tony. Don't let it erupt.
Let it come out drizzle. Let it come out just a little bit. Otherwise, if you just keep it all in, and one day it just bursts and then everything around you is destroyed.
Yeah, don't have that happen in your life. And hopefully, occasionally or regularly listening to Takeaway Chinese would put a little smile on your face, make you happier a little bit, and help you realize the importance of emotional regulation.
That's how we do.
And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Tony here in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at chinaplus.cri.cn and go to the column Podcast.
There are also many podcast platforms where you can find us, and that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. In case you'd like to listen to some previous shows and leave your thoughts, comments, and ratings.
感谢收听，我们下次再见。
再见。